prayer, O Yahweh. Give ear to my supplications, in thy faithfulness answer me, and in thy righteousness. And enter not into judgment with thy servant, for in thy sight shall no man living be justified. For the enemy has persecuted my soul. He has smitten my life down to the ground. He has made me to dwell in darkness, as those that have been long dead. Therefore is my spirit overwhelmed within me, my heart within me is desolate. I remember the days of old, I meditate on all thy works. I muse on the work of thine hands. I stretch forth my hands unto thee, my soul thirsteth after thee as a thirsty land. Selah. Hear me speedily. Oh, I am that I am. My spirit faileth. Hide not thy face from me, lest I be like them that go down into the pit. Cause me to hear thy loving kindness in the morning, for in thee do I trust. Cause me to know the way wherein I should walk, for I lift up my soul unto thee. Deliver me, O Yahuwah, from mine enemies. I flee unto thee to hide me. Teach me to do thy will, for thou art my God. Thy spirit is good. Lead me into the land of uprightness. Quicken me, O Sinini Nanini, for thy name's sake, for thy righteousness' sake, bring my soul out of trouble. And of thy mercy cut off mine enemies and destroy all them that afflict my soul, for I am thy servant. Psalms chapter 143. Deliver me from the hands of evil spirits who have sway over the thoughts of men's hearts, and let them not lead me astray from thee, my God. Establish thou me and my seed, that we go not astray henceforth and forever. Jubilees chapter 12 and verse 20. Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Oh, praises to the Most High. Yes, you're walking with Mr. Clay. I'm Mr. Clay. And first of all, we want to thank the Most High for all that He's done. Yes, we thank Him for how the transitions is going on in the earth and how power is shifting, how that we're getting to the feet of Daniel. Yes, as we even mark the days when, even in the book of Enoch, it says the I Am shall come with 10,000s of his anointed. It's not talking about Jesus. He's talking about the I Am himself. Jesus is not the I Am. I'm sorry. Your Yahweh, I know they're not the I Am. They're not the God. They're not the Creator. They're not Yahya. Yahya means I am that I am. Or I am. All praises to the Most High. Yes, either way, our redemption is drawing near. Our redemption to the point where the meek shall inherit the earth, as they say. He that is of a contrite spirit, humble before the Most High. Even we see the psalmist says that we are not justified before God. We cannot go before God in our own righteousness. What does he mean by that? The law is not your righteousness. The law is saying, I know what God requires or what God measures as righteousness. And what is righteousness before the Most High. And Jacob dwells in that covenant with the Most High, either to his own damnation or his own redemption, or his own blessing and his own prosperity. Yes, the wicked are going to prosper. They do that. God do it for a reason. Jacob, he only prospers them so they can persecute you. He only prospers them so they could get on your nerves. But when you decide to do those things that are right individually, that doesn't bother you. God blesses you. But when you decide to go wickedly and go their way, you become a persecutor of God's people too. In other words, perfect those which are imperfected, to make complete, to make whole before the Most High, that we might fulfill the covenant that our forefathers and our ancestors have vowed before the I Am in one single voice. Yes. No, God didn't have, that was a choice they had all made. We're in the book of 2 Chronicles. And also we thank God for those of you that have been with us since the beginning. We thank the Most High for those of you that have been with us here and there's about. And we also thank the Most High for those of you who are about to subscribe, as well as those of you who have subscribed. And even those of you that are viewing, calling those things that are not as though they are. Yes, we give God the glory and the praise for you. Oh, praises to the Most High. Now, the book of 2 Chronicles. The book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 21. Yes, chapter 21. 2 Chronicles, chapter 21. This is where we are. We're moving right along. We're almost out of these and getting into the captivities. How these are something that God is showing you why He allowed them to be subdued. Why? I mean, from the time they came out of Egypt, our forefathers came out of Egypt, even to this day. Why? You ask why? And from this point on, God gives you examples of why. Why you suffer for the color of your skin. Why you suffer even those things that have happened in the past. Why? Excuse me. Why? So now, Jehoshaphat, which has made league with the children of Israel, the king of Israel, which was wicked after his father, and he became wicked himself, and next thing you know, he slept with his fathers. In verse 20, in chapter 21, 2 Chronicles chapter 21 and verse 1, now Jehoshaphat slept with his fathers and was buried with his father in the city of David. And Jehoram his son reigned in his stead. And he had brethren, the sons of Jehoshaphat, Azariah and Jehiel and Zechariah and Azariah, Michael and Shaphatha. Yeah, Shaphatha. And all these were the sons of Jehoshaphat, king of Israel. And their father gave them great gifts of silver and of gold and precious things with fenced cities in Judah. But the kingdom he gave to Jehoram because he was his firstborn, or the firstborn. Now when Jehoram was risen up to the kingdom of his father, he strengthened himself and slew all his brothers with the sword, and divers also, and various also princes of Israel. Why would he do this? Why would he do this? Why would he? I mean, it's very evident why would he do it. I mean, in different scenarios, there's a lot of parameters here. Verse 5, Joram was 32 years old when he began to reign. And he reigned 8 years in Yasharal of Jerusalem. And he walked in the way of the king of Israel. Okay, that's number one. His father changed. He made league with him, so that's why Israel separated themselves from the heathen. That's why Jacob separated himself from the heathen. There are more of them than there are of you. And they're poison and they're evil and everything to them is okay. Everything to them is all right. Everybody's doing it. But God's law says different. You belong to a different government. a different country, than whom you desire to go back to or to come to you. You desire this thing. It's all around you. How does the kingdom of heaven even dwell in you, even that you keep his commandments, statutes, ordinances, and laws? You can tell each citizen of each country by the way they conduct themselves, the different traditions and different habits that they have. Until they get into another country, then they're surrounded by those who do things a different way, different traditions, different everything. And to them, it's like a man goes to Africa. In United States, twerking is abhorred. Why are you twerking? Why are you shaking your nosh? Why are you doing this? But then you go to Africa, it's an everyday occurrence. It's easy. Children, grown-ups, everything, even to the old. They all twerk or shake their nosh. It's what they do. It's what is accepted. But now you get to the point where you says, this is not right. And they look at you, why you say our way not right? Isn't your way not right? But the fact is that you belong to a different government, a different people. And this is the reason God tries to get you back. And this is the reason why we must sanctify ourselves and to be separate. Yes, that is the test, to be separate even in the midst of all the turmoil and persecutions and all these other things. The enemy does not want you to get back to the way of your Creator that he has designed for you. He doesn't want you to do that. So therefore, because of Deuteronomy chapter 28, Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, and all these other religions were created that you might have a hard way to go. Oh, God's not right. Yeah, he did it so you and I might have a hard way to go. Is that to be angry at God? No. It's to prove us that regardless of what we go through and how life deals a dirty blow to us, that we will cleave to our God, even the Creator of all things. And I'll tell you one thing, for that person or that will, God will step over mountains to get to you and treat you good and treat you nice. You're not going to be rich. No, not most of you are not going to be rich. Very few, if any. But you will have what you need. It's God's way. But anyway, and he walked in the way of the kings of Israel, as did the house of Ahab. Well, we understand what Ahab did. For he had the daughter of Ahab there it is right there. Wouldn't this be why you went to the Old Testament and said, don't be unequally yoked? Your daughter of Ahab was wicked. She learned the way of her mother, Jezebel, or whatever wife that was. And he wrought that which was evil in the sight of the I Am. Howbeit the I Am would not destroy the house of David. No, not at that time. For he had made a covenant that he made with David, but that covenant was without condition. But God was merciful. Yes, he is merciful, even as the psalmist says, his mercy endureth forever. And as he promised, he gave a light to him and to his sons forever. This is how he sees it. Now, in his days, the Edomites revolted under the dominion of Judah and made themselves a king. In other words, the Edomites was in the land either. They were not white. They were black people. These were people, although Esau was of a lighter skin and all that stuff, they had not mixed yet. Not to that point. Then Joram went forth with his princes and all his chariots with him, and he rose up by night and smote the Edomites, which compassed him in, and the captains of chariots. So the Edomites revolted under the land of Judah unto this day. So they didn't want to be under. Even God said that. Your brother's going to put a yoke upon your neck. Didn't he say that? Go back to the book of Genesis. Now, the same time, now here the yoke have come off the Edomites. And they revolted from under, in verse 10, they revolted from under the hand of Judah unto this day. The same time did Libnah revolt under his hand. Because he had forsaken the I am of his fathers. So although there was a king there, it was no good, because he was walking contrary to the covenant that was before the Most High between him and Israel. Excuse me again. For moreover, he made high places in the mountains of Judah, and caused the inhabitants of Yasharal or Jerusalem to commit fornication. This is a Greek word. It's really adultery. There was no such word as, or should I say, the Hebrew equivalent of adultery. Because it all falls under adultery, from whatever sin you can commit. Whether with a family member or whatever, it falls under adultery. Anything outside the union of marriage is adultery. Now, this is a Greek terminology. They say fornication. They try to narrow it down. In our society, we say it's sexual promiscuity between unmarried persons. See, a lot of meanings have changed. A lot of meaning has changed, even that of what a man or a woman is. That have changed too. But with this current administration in the U.S., they try to put it back where it was, which is a good thing. But it still doesn't justify what is going on. You can be morally right as far as your sexuality and be wickedly wrong because of your bigotry and your, should I say, your hatred for those who do not look like you or shape like you or walk like you or talk like you. And you still go in to your little churches and your mosque and praise whatever God you're praising. I don't know who that is. That's not God. Because he tells Israel himself, you are not to be like this. He says, if they come into your presence, if they come into your country, there's one law to the child of Jacob and one law to the stranger. This is the way we would do it. You might not like them or their ways. If they're doing that which is right and they're adhering by the laws of that country, there's nothing to be said. You treat them equally. But that's not going to happen in this world in this day and time. Even amongst those that are of the same hue, the same skin, it's not going to happen. But it's more prevalent of those of a bigger contrast. Now, you know what I'm saying. Thus said the I am God of David thy father, because thou hast not walked in the ways of Jehoshaphat thy father, nor in the ways of Asa king of Judah. No, Jehoshaphat messed up, but still Jehoshaphat most of his life walked the ways of the Most High. Asa messed up, but yet he still walked the ways of the Most High. He tore down these high places. He told the people that you're going to have to do this thing right. See, God knows how to deal with his own folks. He knows he got a stiff-necked people. Yeah, we are some stubborn, stiff-necked people. And once you really get on our nerves, we will delete you. Once we really figure it out, we will delete you, period. And all that you possess, we will do it. We're very stiff-necked. And you think that you have the upper hand, but you don't. Because thou hast walked not in the ways of Jehoshaphat thy father, nor in the ways of Asa king of Judah. Verse 13. But thou hast walked in the way of the king of Israel. So apparently he was killing his brothers that they would not do a coup or present a coup on him. He was jealous. He was fearful of his riches and his position. Because the only ones that could claim title over the children of Judah was his brothers, because they were still of the line of David, King David. So I'm going to get rid of my competition. It's a meaning for war. He's going to get rid of his competition. Covetingness. Yeah, this is covetousness. This is envy. This is strife. This is like, oh, you could take my place at any time. All you have to do is just delete me. And so he got rid of him. Yes, this king got rid of him. And he became, because of that, he committed murder. By using his people, yes, they were the tools by which he used. But yet, he committed murder of his brethren. And then, because of that, it led him into deeper darkness, in that he started worshiping idols and doing that which is right. Listening to it wrong, should I say, listening to his wife also, who was a daughter of one or two that were very wicked. Now, let's continue. Now, it says, verse 11, moreover, he made high places in the mountains of Judah, and caused the inhabitants of Yerushalayim or Jerusalem to commit fornication, and compelled Judah thereto. In other words, this is imperative. In other words, the way of Israel became the way of Judah, which was state religion. You cannot have any type of religion in a country and one not be the dominant one. Some way, form, or fashion. Although they might tolerate the other religions, still there isn't a dominant religion in that country. It's good and it's bad. And there came a writing to him from Elijah the prophet. Oh, Elijah could write. He just wasn't a dumb man that walked around in camel's hair or whatever he had on. It wasn't no camel's hair. That's a dead animal that was forbidden by God to even touch. Saying, thus saith the I am, God of David thy father, because thou hast not walked in the ways of Jehoshaphat thy father, nor in the ways of Asa thy king of Judah, but thou hast walked in the way of the king of Israel, and has made Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem to go a whoring like to the whoredoms of the house of Ahab, and also have slain thy brethren of thy father's house, which were better than thyself. Now you understand there's a marriage there. See, even the writers of the New Testament, they knew to understand there was a marriage. This had to look good for them to write the things that they write and then concoct the things that they have concocted in what they call the New Testament. He said, behold, with a great plague will the I am smite thy people and thy children and thy wives and all thy goods. God, he don't have to do nothing. This is a light thing. Because you're going to be stupid, period. You're going to turn away. You think there might be a seed of his brethren left that will replace him, period. And he don't even know they're there. Please, God got a way. You ain't getting past God. And thou shalt have great sickness by disease of thy bowels. What did he have? Bowels? Inflammatory bowel disease? Did he have some type of... I knew a guy at one time, his whole... They had to bring down his whole intestines in order to fix everything, because not only his bowels fell out, but blood would not stop flowing out of his rectum. No. And he fainted and almost died until his wife found him. Now, whatever he's talking about, continual diarrhea. God hit you in places where you don't want to get hit. Continual diarrhea. Until thy bowels fall out by reason of sickness day by day. Whatever sickness that was, that he was continually using the bathroom. Or should I say the toilet? We'll put it that way. Moreover, the I am stirred up against Jehoram, the spirit of the Philistines. And see, this is what happens with sin. You always ask, why are they so much over me? Why do they hate me? Is God not expressing what he is what he thinks of you? Well, God shouldn't be thinking like they're supposed to be a mercy. That's what man said. That ain't what God says. That ain't what God shows you throughout the historical account of Israel and Judah. That's what man says, period. I don't know how we get to the point where we think that God is so favorable to us because just the color of our skin or because of just we not like them. No, you not like God. That's your problem. They not like God. You're not like God is what God is saying. You not like me. You're not like God. If you go the way of a heathen or a people, another people, or whether you go to Christianity or whether you go to Islam or whether you go to either one of these, Buddhism or whatever, Zoroastrianism or worship any type of idol, you're not like God. That's not God. God never changes. His righteousness is his law. And that law he handed to Moses. And that law, the children of Jacob said, all that you said, that will we do. And it will count to every generation that is under him. No, you're not like God. No, God is not like you. You try to concoct and make up things to accuse God, just like they would do what the U.S. would do with Burkina Faso, trump up charges against God and cuss him out on social media and in churches and on the street, in your mosque, in your Christian churches. You curse God. You curse God when you say that this law, statutes, commandments, and ordinances are gone. You curse God, but yet you want just a little portion of it just to justify yourself. Oh, maybe what if I do this? God is not. You think you're the foolish one. Tell you the truth. Moreover, God brought their enemies against them because of his sin, the sin of Judah. And they came up into Judah and break into it and carried away all the substance that was found in the king's house. In other words, they did a lick on him. And his sons and also his wives that were never a son left him, save Joaz, the youngest of his son. Now Jehoaz was the youngest of his son. He didn't leave him. And after all this, the I am smote him in his bowels with an incurable disease. In other words, he just boo-booed all over himself all the time. And it came to pass in the process of time, at the end of 2 years, his bowels fell out by reason of his sickness, so he died of sore diseases. In other words, God rat his intestine and his rectum and his bowels. Whatever disease that is, I cannot tell. But I know it is something that even people suffer with today. And his people made no burning for him like the burning of his fathers. 32 years old was he when he began to reign, and he reigned in Jerusalem 8 years and departed without being desired. In other words, sort of remind me of the president of Kenya. If he departed, it's going to be without desire. They probably just throw him in the field and let the lions or some hyena eat him. Who knows? And any leader that will not do his people justice. Not only that, some would even desire, even in the countries that we call good countries or lucrative countries, to just, if their leader gives, nobody even attends their funerals. Nobody even the funeral parlor don't even want to bury him. You wonder. 32 years he reigned, and he reigned in Jerusalem 8 years and departed without being. Howbeit they buried him in the city of David. They had mercy upon him, but not upon the soldier of it. This man was dishonored. A dishonorable discharge of life. I mean, you affected the lives of people to where they hated you. But because of David, they had to do what the covenant said. You don't want to go out that with a dishonorable discharge of life before the Most High. You don't want it. Don't matter what people do, because this wicked world is just wicked. They hate righteousness. They really do. Don't matter about that. But if you go out with that honor that comes from God, then you will have peace.
Walk with me.